I'm pretty much done with today's mowing. Goes around there, goes up there. A little of it's on the other side of that stand of trees there. That's the big hole. The plants out there that you see some are mulberry trees, some are milkweed. I mow around milkweed where it's possible, where it's not growing among noxious weeds, because milkweed houses the increasingly endangered butterfly, the monarch butterfly. Over there, that inviting gateway down there is where I take pictures with the girls down by the creek. This stuff up close, it's ground up, not into powder, but into short. Some of it lays down long, like hay. I have cut hay with this mower. When it gets ground up, the dogs don't like that. My new hay mower makes food they like better. Right over there, if you see that stake there, that's where I recorded that other thread, or wrote that other thread. This is what it looked like before I started. I'm gonna get up on top of the vent track. I'm standing up on the vent track. Look out over that. That's a mulberry tree right there. That's a mulberry tree right there. There's some in there. There's every kind of grass, weed, forb, crud. Everything there is grows in there. That high hump of bright green grass out there in the distance, that's Johnson grass. I showed you that from up close in a recent video. I'll be mowing this pretty soon. Now, this is all, plants run in the neighborhood of 50% atmospheric carbon. I mean, it's not, I do everything with heuristics and rules of thumb, but it's a usable number. It's realistic. And this is as tall as I am. I get down off of here. Okay. This plant here is taller than I am. It's technically a weed. It's an invasive species. It's an introduced plant. This grass here is about eyebrow high on me. So that's how tall that is. And although it doesn't look like it, within not very many days, there'll be blades of grass growing up all through that. First it'll turn brown, and then it'll turn green. It's like after a fire. It's amazing. And that grass will decompose slowly. It'll lay on the surface of the ground, and it will slowly decompose with fungus and other decomposition plants. They used to say that it would evaporate into the atmosphere, but there's no reason that I don't see any logic to that statement. And more recent research with crop residue shows that crop residue turns into topsoil. This farm is down here. There's some topsoil because all the topsoil off that hill up there is gone, and a lot of it's down here. The creek's in there. I show you the creek all the time. And we could put all the underemployed working class people of any race you care to name, all the races, to work across America doing this. And we could literally sequester carbon starting right now. Now this thing here, that's the vent track. I talk about it all the time. I'm extremely fond of the vent track. It's a funny little machine. It has a little bit of wheels. It's fat. You can take these out and put another set of wheels on it, so it has two wheels in each corner, 8 wheels. And that sucker will mow a 30-degree side hill and not fall over and kill you. And if it does, it's got a roll bar, and I wear my seatbelt. It takes me, all of this down here took me actually about 4.5 gallons to mow. And there is, according to Google and the internet and all the sources I can find, I saw numbers between 19.5 and 22. There's 20 pounds of CO2 in a gallon of gas. So I put 100 pounds of CO2 in here. This is, there's supposedly about 2.5 tons of hay on an acre in acre country, or hay country. I would bet this went 4. I've baled it, I've carried it, I've hauled big bales off of it. I would bet this, what we're looking at here, went 4. That's rich down there. That's 50% of what you see laying on the ground is atmospheric carbon. And somewhere between 80 and 90% of it is going to be bound to the soil in a form we call topsoil. And while that process happens, as runoff comes off that hill, this down grass all over everything. And when the grass grows up through it, it'll still be there. It'll be slowly decomposing. That catches rain runoff. As you know, we have these more and more violent storms with climate change. And as that hill's just the closest piece, that's uphill a long way that way. And as the water comes down off that hill, the more living matter, or recently living matter, you know, like this stuff we're looking at here, that it has to run through, the slower it can get down into this creek. That means the creek becomes less what they call fleshy. It doesn't flood as suddenly. Water rises more slowly and falls more slowly. That improves the hydrology downstream from here. And I can see places where it has improved it. This is what the world needs. You know, we could take all those unemployed people that Joe Biden wants to put to work pouring concrete, and we could put them out on little tractors like this one. And this tractor's got, you could probably make, I'd guess, 800 of these tractors for the emissions of one wind turbine with you know, 50-meter blades and 25-meter blades, whatever they are. And you could put each one of them to work the day it hit the street, removing atmospheric carbon. Not promising to not emit it someday, removing it right now today. You could slow down all the traffic 10 miles an hour and get enough gasoline to fuel this project. It is not because we have no options. It's because we don't like the options because they're not really cool. They don't have big, tall towers and fun, and you can't invest in them. You know, I mean, you can't buy stock in a project like this. Everybody's waiting for somebody to invent that thing that will remove all the excess carbon from the atmosphere. The reason they haven't invented that is because nobody can figure out how. And the reason nobody can figure out how is because the laws of thermodynamics continue to function mercilessly, and you can't do all that work with that energy. You can do all this work with the energy that's coming down from up there that we're all worried about because we're getting too much of. This is solar power. This is solar energy. Unlike a panel, this doesn't obtain 18%. All that sunlight that grew this grass didn't bounce back off and get caught by a carbon molecule. While it was growing, this grass built its body out of carbon molecules, literally. And now those carbon molecules are laying on the ground. If we really want to spend $3 trillion paving America, we can do that. But I would prefer we not go through this bullshit of saying that it's so we can fix climate change. You want to fix climate change, fix climate change. Don't emit carbon. That's all I got.